What's up, Star Wars fans? My name is Prince, and I'm an urban acolyte. And this is the first Star Wars chat for 2018. I took a little bit of a break for the first week of the month. Just want to say Happy New Year to all of you all. We got a couple of Star Wars stories to cover in this Star Wars chat. So I'm going to just jump right in. The first story is Rian Johnson responds to the Last Jedi Backlash. This is coming from Entertainment Weekly's website, so let me summarize their piece. They wrote that The Last Jedi has been a hit with critics and at the box office, earning rave reviews that have declared the film the best entry in the franchise since Empire Strikes Back. It also scored the second highest opening of all time behind The Force Awakens, raking in $220 million at the box office in its first weekend. Still, in spite of that, the film has proved divisive online among fans, with many railing against the film's depiction of Luke Skywalker, aspects of the Force, and other subplots. Many have chalked up the polarizing response to internet trolls, particularly racism and sexism, against a film that displays a wide range of female leadership and heroic actions from a diverse cast. According to Rian Johnson, the goal was never to divide or make people upset, but I do think the conversations that are happening were going to happen at some point if Star Wars is going to grow, move forward, and stay vital. So, when we're looking at this, people are upset because basically we have cleared the board. The sky is the limit of possibilities when it comes to stories that can be told in the Star Wars universe. And I'm not trying to throw shade at anybody, but people tend to have short memories, right? I talk about this stuff almost every day, so it gives me the ability to be able to recall information that other people have forgotten. So let's go back to almost exactly a year ago, right? I was talking about Kathleen Kennedy, Bob Iger, CEO of Disney, some other people, Carrie Hart, members of the story group were probably involved. There was going to be a meeting to discuss, one, how they were going to move forward with Star Wars Episode 9 in the wake of Carrie Fisher's passing, and there was going to be talk of the future of Star Wars. How much further down the line is this going to go? What are we going to do with this thing, this creature, as we expand on the George Lucas canon, right? We were anticipating Episode 8. We knew there was 9, which was going to wrap up this trilogy. There was the question, is Episode 9 going to end the Skywalker saga? And that question became even more relevant because Carrie Fisher was no longer with us. And now that 8 is wrapped up, well, Luke Skywalker, the character in the flesh has died, but he went on to become one with the Force. And if you think about what Obi-Wan Kenobi said when he became one with the Force, if you strike me down, I will become Darth. I will become even more powerful than you can ever imagine. Luke says the same thing to Kylo Ren. If you strike me down in anger, I will always be with you. See you around, kid. So it's like, okay, Luke became one with the Force, but does that mean that's the end of Luke Skywalker? People upset over the expanded Force abilities. Well, Yoda snaps his finger and calls down lightning to strike the tree on Ahch-To, and it shows us, oh, wait a minute, Force ghosts can now interact with the physical environment. Qui-Gon, we learned that from a different point of view, or from a certain point of view, that when you pass on, when you retain your consciousness, this is even something I've talked about in videos on Taoist Negung. I don't know where those videos are, but I know I've said it in a video. It's up to you guys to go and find it. But this is something where they're pulling in, I don't know if Rian Johnson intended to do this, but he's pulled in more of the source material to expand the powers and abilities of the Jedi, even though I'm like, well, if you study Negung and this stuff, you'll start to wonder how much of this did George Lucas actually put in Star Wars, because this is something that may be real, that people are actually training to do in the real world. Is that in Star Wars too? And it totally is, because After death, once you have retained your consciousness, you can continue to train. Qui-Gon can now materialize a body. When you read from a certain point of view, you learn that before Obi-Wan appears in A New Hope, he was hanging out with Qui-Gon. And Qui-Gon is like, yeah, Obi-Wan, I'll see you soon. And Obi-Wan is thinking, okay, after I meet up with Luke and we get him started, Qui-Gon is going to come and train with both of us, right? And that wasn't the case at all. He was saying, Obi-Wan, you're getting ready to die, homeboy. My Padawan learner. So if that's the case, then how do we know we haven't seen the last of Luke Skywalker, that Luke Skywalker could become even more powerful, and all those people that were hoping in The Last Jedi that Luke was going to show up and unleash the Force on the First Order, that's not off the table, right? Luke had become disillusioned with the Jedi. He stopped being a Jedi, and now he regained his faith. And he could totally pop up in this movie, in another movie, as long as Mark Hamill wants to play Luke Skywalker. There's the possibility that Luke Skywalker can show up, right? So I just really feel like the naysayers, the people that are upset, this is the problem. The Last Jedi in the movie literally speaks to your concerns, to your problems. It's not going to go the way you think, right? What is the theme in The Last Jedi? It's that we go in with these expectations. We're expecting this certain thing based on a skewed vision of the past that we are now projecting into the future. I'm projecting this thing is going to happen in the future based on my misunderstanding of the past. What did I say last night in the live stream? The past is a history. The past is history. The future is a mystery, right? The past is history, and it's a history. It's a story that you've told yourself, but it might not be the actual story that has occurred. It's just from a certain point of view and not from the full point of view. So to say that The Last Jedi ruined your childhood and the Luke Skywalker that you grew up with was ruined, and this thing and social justice warriors and this social justice message that Disney is, that's always been Star Wars, and Luke Skywalker has always been Luke Skywalker. This is the path that he was on. And for Mark Hamill, Mark Hamill said he wasn't playing Luke Skywalker, he was Jake Skywalker. Well, Mark Hamill was basing those comments on, this is the Luke Skywalker that I played in Return of the Jedi. But Mark Hamill turned around and said, and this is where, there's the people tend to accidentally forget things that don't align with their argument. Well, when I sat down and I learned what happened to Luke Skywalker since then, and I learned the story, and well, then it made sense, and I was okay with this disillusioned Luke Skywalker who has given up on the Jedi and given up on everything else and has come to Ahch-To to die, right? So it's really, you just got to harmonize. You got to harmonize with the story. Whatever your hang-up is, you're allowed to have that hang-up. You're allowed to disagree. I've said that there are things that could happen that I would, as a fan, as a person interested in these stories, there's certain things that I don't want to see happen, right? But if they happen, they happen. That is a choice, and as long as someone can say, this is the choice that we made, and this is why, and this is where this character is going, well, they can't say where the character is going. I just have to say, okay, well, I want to see how this plays out. Or I say, okay, I'm no longer going to engage this. I'm not going to engage, which means I'll never harmonize with it. And I walk away, and that's that. But I don't know. Some people, they just like to complain. And speaking of complaining, there's a lot of complaining going on regarding Rey Random, or the revelation that Rey is not related to anyone, has no ties to any previous Jedi or previous characters that we've seen in previous works. Or maybe, she might be, and we have to wait and see. So, this was in the Huffington Post. It says, in Star Wars The Last Jedi, Kylo Ren reveals the truth about Rey's parents. Apparently, he found out who her parents were when he was telepathically connected to Rey courtesy of the Force, and in an effort to persuade her to join him, he tells Rey what she knew all along. Her parents were just some junk trading bums who sold her and are now dead in a ditch. That's it. There's no fancy history, no birthright, no need for in-depth analysis of fan theories. Rey is just plain old Rey. Some fans are still questioning Rey's parentage, especially since the news was delivered via Kylo Ren. Like Rian Johnson said, it's possible that Kylo is looking for any information, true or not, that he can use as leverage against Rey. The truth might depend on how you look at things. With all these movies, Obi-Wan's whole speech about a certain point of view always applies. So I think that you have to always think about the context of how information is given. But for me, dramatically, that's why that reveal at that moment made sense, Rian Johnson said. Anything's still open, and I'm not writing the next film. J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio are doing it, right? So for Rian Johnson, this is part of the plot device, and this is part of Kylo Ren's character. And this builds on The Force Awakens, and I touched on it in a fan theory that I created, right? My hypothesis of why Kylo Ren turned to the dark side. If you think back to that video, I talk about Kylo Ren possibly wanting to become the boon giver, and by boon giver meaning the future of the Jedi Order, a powerful Force user, maybe an enlightened type ruler, some kind of leadership position, right? When he sees that that's not going to happen, well, there's the lure. Well, that ambition already being the lure of the dark side. This thing that I want, the selfishness, the greed, right? And Snoke could have used that to twist him, right? So when he meets up with Rey, and they're in the saber lock there on Starkiller Base, all of a sudden it's, you need a teacher. I can teach you the ways of the Force. And from that point on, yes, Kylo Ren is humiliated. He's embarrassed because this girl who never touched a lightsaber before picked up his grandfather's lightsaber, this thing that's in his heritage, his legacy. If you take the comic book depiction of Rey's Force back vision and the earlier version of the Force back vision, Maz Kanata stole that lightsaber from Kylo Ren, which adds more weight to that lightsaber. It belongs to me, that he says to Finn at the start of that lightsaber battle in The Force Awakens, right? So Rey has it. She has this thing that ought to belong to him, right? And now he wants to dominate her. How do I? First, I want to be the man. I took out Snoke. Now, what else is there left for me to do? Now, this girl, I need you to take the knee. You mean nothing. You're nothing to everybody else, but you mean something to me, right? Your parents didn't care about you. They threw you away. You're garbage, but you mean something to me, right? And so, Tashu said in the first Aftermath novel, the dark side always tells the truth. It does always tell the truth, right? But there's an asterisk next to the word truth. It tells you the truth from a certain point of view to get you to do a certain thing that it wants you to do. It tells you the truth from a place of greed, from a place of selfishness, from a place of desire, right? What's best for me and not what's best for everyone else, right? So Kylo Ren was telling Rey the truth. Rian Johnson hit Rey with the hardest obstacles that she could face. He said, when I look at these characters, what's the hardest thing that they need to overcome? For Rey, one, she meets Luke Skywalker. She's heard about the legends of Luke Skywalker. If you know how Luke Skywalker walked on water in the book, The Legends of Luke Skywalker, there on Jakku, it sounds like Luke Skywalker is like a patron saint to scavengers because he walked on the glass sea, right? A liquid sea of molten sand, a glass sea, if you don't know what I'm talking about. And he saved scavengers there on Jakku. So he's like a patron saint to scavengers on Jakku. And Rey has probably heard about him being a scavenger and being familiar with the Church of the Force, the Pilgrims of Tuano Village, where Lord Santeca ended up. He'd been doing other stuff while Rey was there on Jakku, so he wasn't watching out for her. Just coincidental. It's part of the story, right? He's there. He's got the map to a piece of the map to find Luke Skywalker. BB-8 ends up with the map. Rey finds BB-8. Finn crash lands there because the First Order's there looking for Lord Santeca. They meet. They leave together, right? Plot device, right? So she's probably looked up to him as a patron saint of the scavengers, and then she meets him and he's disillusioned and he's saying, yeah, people believe in the legend of me, but I'm not. This is me, and and that's the legend, and I was never that. But you know, and now I'm a far cry from the person who was a close approximation of that. I'm not even that dude anymore. And now she's trying to convince him, and then well, if you won't do it, then I'll go to Kylo, because I'm convinced that he'll return to the light and he's the final hope. And it's like, no, Rey, you're the hope. And so for Rey, another obstacle that she has to overcome is funny. Somebody said there's nothing of the hero's journey in Rey's story. And it's like, well, she's looking at everyone else and it's like, it's been you all along. Well, Luke, you're going to be the Jedi to bring hope to the galaxy. Nope, not going to be me. Not it. Well, then it's going to be Kylo. And what does Kylo say? Is like, Rey, join me, right? What we're talking about here. Rey, you're garbage. But if you join me, you don't have to be garbage anymore. We can burn it all down and we can join me. And together we can rule the galaxy, right? We've already killed Snoke, right? Nope, Ben, Ben, don't do this, right? And then what does it turn out? Moving rocks. She will be the last Jedi. She's the one who's going to restore hope, right? And with this, right, getting back to the hero's journey that someone said it's not in, I'm getting ready to tell you where it is. Then I'm going to end this. She's got to reconcile with her parents, right? Part of the hero's journey, reconciliation with a parental figure. Empire Strikes Back, the big reveal. No, Luke, I am your father. Luke hates Vader. Luke believes Vader killed his father, Anakin Skywalker. Luke finds out this person who has humiliated him, who he wants to kill, is his father. And now he's got to reconcile all of that, right? As part of his hero's journey. Rey, always looking for her parents, looking for some form of redemption, looking to find her self-worth. And now it's like, it's probably not going to happen. So you've got to go on your own and find your own meaning, your own self-worth, and reconcile what happened with your parents. So that's really all I got to say about this, but I'd like to hear from you. So what are you guys' thoughts on the backlash from The Last Jedi? And what do you think about this revelation? Or do you buy what Kylo Ren had to say about Rey's parents, or do you not? So let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and I'll be checking back to see what you all have to say. So if you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and click on that subscribe button so that you can take your first steps towards becoming an urban acolyte. Embark on the journey of becoming the hero of your own story and become a force for change in your community. You can continue to support the channel. You can do that by checking out, where is it? I don't know where the videos are, but you can check out last night's live stream on how the Force works, or you can check out whatever video that YouTube has selected especially for you. Anyway, that's all I got for this one. Thanks for watching. Y'all keep on breathing, and may the force of others be with you always.